Morning. I expect to run out from behind a curtain or something. Well, I want to welcome you all back to campus. In fact, I know some of you have never left the campus this summer, but it's always a special thrill for me to speak to the College of Arts and Science faculty because, as many as you know, my academic discipline finds its home in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I know firsthand from that service in my career and from what you all do the very important role, the critical role you play in the education of our students on campus, providing the core courses for the education of the general education program, and not only your own majors, but of course what the basic needs for general education are for our professional majors around the campus. So I want to acknowledge the role you play and thank you very much for it. And I'm pleased to welcome you back. I know some of you in Peck Hall feel as though the birds and the raccoons are welcoming you back as well. And we are very much trying to get the upgrade in Peck Hall completed. I think what we're going to do now is take a little moratorium of a couple of weeks till after Labor Day and get things settled in a little bit before we take the next step. But as my understanding is, right now the offices are completed in the basement and first floor. I think all the classrooms are completed. You're going to find, especially with the new ventilation system that's been put in going forward, I'm told by the architects that you're going to be about 75% warmer in the winter. Let's see if I get this right. And 75% cooler in the summer. We have all the classrooms, I think, in good shape, ready to go in terms of that renovation. And those of you in the second and third floor will be, I think that work will be completed after Labor Day. But the intent is not to inconvenience you, although I recognize some inconveniences have occurred which are regrettable, which we regret. But the attempt is to provide you with a better, more comfortable working environment. And if you'll just hang on a little bit longer, I certainly think that's what the result is going to be. I also want to talk about the science building project a little bit. I was over there the other day to have my annual picture taken and chose to have it taken in front of the science building. I was just talking to Bob Dixon and some of the others from the building over there. I know it's, I think you said 1996 or 7 when you first started planning, and I know since 2004 how hard all of us have been working on that project. So it's really great to see the science building go up. So the renovations in Peck Hall and the science building are not the only ways we're thinking about you. Those of you in art and design know that we made a commitment last year to get all of the art groups together into one entity with the addition to the art and design building, and also to solve a long-standing safety problem. I know it's been very difficult over there with some of the safety issues, and hopefully the new art and design building will, or addition will help that. You know, I said for many years, how long have I been here now? As long as I've been here, I said we wouldn't do anything else for buildings on this campus in terms of additions or new structures until we had taken care of the science building, since the science building was something that had a long-standing need. I think you've seen that once we took care of the science building, we quickly moved into other areas like art and design. You will see a addition to the engineering building in the engineering school that will take place, and we're not going to be done there either. We are in a very fortunate position right now in that we are considered a hot university, a university on the move. These are good things to be considered in this day and age. The result of that is that more students are applying here and more students are enrolling here. We are still not entirely certain what our enrollment will be for the fall, but I think the term is now cautiously pessimistic is the term people are using, trying to be funny. But I'm cautiously optimistic that we will achieve the highest enrollment that we have ever had, eclipsing even last year's 14,133. Now, we won't be over it a lot. We've tried to manage our growth to 1 to 2% a year. And as you know, during the period of time we have managed that growth, one thing we have not done is we have not stopped hiring faculty. Faculty new positions have been provided in departments where there's been significant enrollment growth, And in other areas where faculty have retired or left the university, we have filled those positions as well. If you have an opening in your department and it didn't get filled, it might be because somebody wasn't available, acceptable in the pool or something like that, but it wasn't because we didn't release the position. To my knowledge, all the vacant positions in the university have been released. So we're able to keep our favorable student-to-faculty ratio. It's been variably between 16:1 and 17:1 for the time I've been here, and it's a very good faculty-to-student ratio, and I think we're going to work to continue to keep that at a favorable ratio going forward. We also have another benefit of increased student enrollments. Not only makes us sort of the hot school that everybody's been talking about that gets us to wind up on these lists, but additional students mean additional revenue, and additional revenue means that we are able to avoid things that some of the other universities in our state have not been able to avoid. For example, we have not had furloughs, we have not had layoffs, we've not had reductions in force. Rather, we have had this year the second round of equity increases across the board as determined by the faculty sentence procedure. Administration provided the money, but we stayed out of the process. So I know a number of you in this room were provided equity increases based on market values that were shown from that study. That should have already appeared in your checks. And for the rest of us who were at least employed here as of July 1st, 2010, because it effectively was retroactive, I believe it's next week, isn't it, Provost? August 31st, you will have in your checks that 2.5% or whatever the merit-based increase determined by your department and college would have been provided next week. And this, I think, will enable us to get very close to the average salaries for the peer group in which we find ourselves. It's the second time we've done equity. You remember a couple of years ago we did about $750,000 into an equity pool. This year we did $1 million. And I can tell you that our interest in providing you competitive wages, we're not done. We plan more. We want to hire the best faculty we can have at our university. We want them to be fully committed to the teacher-scholar model, and we want to remunerate them at salaries that are appropriate. For those of you who are new, I introduced myself a couple of days ago, and I talked about the great sense of community we have here at our university. And in fact, a couple of the new faculty have already approached me at this morning's breakfast and said, Chancellor, everything you said about how I would be welcome here has occurred. My department reaches out to me, and I'm just having a terrific time, and I feel like I came to a great place. I've also had a number of you on the faculty come up and say, we got our first choice candidate. We're so thrilled to have that candidate here. And we all know, being in the academic life, how great it is for someone to feel as though they were the first choice, or he or she was the first choice, and for us to be able to welcome that new colleague at the university. We have a couple of things that we are really emphasizing, and I just want to take a minute to talk about that. Those of you who are returning know this, but I can't emphasize enough that what's very important to us going forward as a university is retention and graduation of students. We're going to see this year, as a result of the legislature passing a bill which the governor signed, the beginning of a process of requiring us to meet certain performance standards. These will be initially ones we set on ourselves, but those will include retention and graduation. But I want you to know that we will be ahead of many other universities because we've been on to this theme for at least 5 or 6 years. This is why we built the Student Success Center, was to consolidate all the student services into one area, counseling and tutoring and whatever health services, whatever the student might need. The plan is have students come to your classes prepared to learn. If they are not prepared to learn, you only know they're not prepared to learn. You don't know why. Did they not get tutoring? Did they not get counseling? Were they sick? Did they have a problem in the residence hall? Whatever we can do to control the students' environment so he or she comes to your class ready to learn. That's what we're trying to do. That's our plan. If we are failing in our plan, please tell us. Where you can help us in our plan, please help us. It's important to us. It's important to our students. We are also providing other ways to assist you, as I think you know. I noticed the room over to my right, there are a group of advisors there. We have now fully implemented professional advising throughout the university. This is to relieve faculty of the responsibility of advising. You no longer need to memorize all the GER courses in a certain area. But what does it enable you to do? It enables you to spend that time that you would have spent on advising on mentoring. That is our wish. That is our hope. That is why we completely revamped the Undergraduate Research Academy and made it into a new program called IRCA, where students can work with you on research projects for which they are paid. Instead of going to McDonald's after school, they will come here and work with you on projects, hopefully, that will advance your research agenda. At the same time, it enables students. How does it help students? It's a form of financial aid. They get to work with you one-on-one. They get to see you in terms of how you think about your discipline, which is something they don't always get to see in the classroom. And more importantly, they get to connect with you one-on-one and see you as a professional and as a person who cares about them. The data clearly show that if students connect to faculty or staff on campus, they are more likely to stay and graduate. We have morphed at this university. A decade ago, 15 years ago, kids came here with the sole intention of transferring after 2 years to U of I or Missouri. That is no longer the case. For 80% of the students, first choice. For 95%, first and second choice. This is where they want to be. They don't want to leave here. And we don't want them leaving here. We are going to be measured going forward in large degree by the way we treat our students in terms of retention and graduation. Let's give them the kind of experiences many of us had as undergraduates or would like to have had as undergraduates in terms of the commitment that our faculty have. I'm really proud of everything that you do. I just want to say a little bit about budget. I know that's on your minds. The state is doing something that it's been doing a couple of years. They're not giving us all of our money from the last fiscal year. We're about $23 million behind. But for some reason, they decided to give us a little bit of our FY11 money, the new fiscal year, FY12, the new fiscal year that we're in. And so we have money lagging from last year's account, $23 million, and now they've given us $5 or $8 million in this year's account. I don't really understand the rationale, but we still do have an issue where the money that the state owes us comes in late. And now that we have provided the equity, the 2.5% salary increases, we're working to clear off the backlog of positions that are unfilled. So if you've got an unfilled position, you need to remind your dean of that, who'll remind the provost, who in Chancellor's Council will remind us that we need to work away that backlog of positions that were unfilled. We've been able to manage, I think, very well. You all have been great during the last couple of years. We've pulled together, sense of community, great place to live and to work and to learn. And as I said earlier, I think we've been able to dodge some bullets, but we've been able to dodge them because we've all been able to work together, and we've all said we understand what we have to do. Let's roll up our sleeves and get it done. And I think now, at least, relative to some of our other sister universities around the country, we were able to see the benefits of that. So once again, do I have another half hour? Once again, I want to welcome you all back for a new year. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have one thing that, an accreditation of sorts, if you will. The NCAA will have a site team on campus October 11th to 13th, and the result of that, we hope, will be to fully certify us as a Division I institution. For those of you who are new, We decided to move to Division I athletics 5 years ago. Actually, it was 2007, yeah. So it's coming up to 5 years. It'll be 5 years by the time the process is over. And we decided that for one reason. It was our 50th anniversary. We were a grown-up university. We said our faculty get grants from National Science Foundation, National Endowment for the Humanities, National Endowment for the Arts. They publish internationally and nationally in journals. Our students compete nationally for awards. The only place we weren't competing at the highest allowable level was in our athletics. And so we needed to have a university that was competing at the highest level across the board, and that's why we did it. We didn't promise money, we didn't promise enrollment increases, we didn't promise anything, but that our athletes should have the same chance that all our other students have. Once again, the university community has supported that. It was an institutional decision. It remains an institutional decision. Whether I or you or anybody else is interested in athletics is immaterial. It matters how we are perceived as a university, and I know that you will give your support when we have these site visit here in October, and I certainly did want to encourage you to do that. So once again, welcome back. Do I take questions, or I move on, stay out of trouble? Yes, Al says. Thank you all very much. Go Cougars, go Big E.
Good morning. I need to tell you that when the chancellor talked to me about this job, I had to confess to him that I had absolutely no interest in athletics. And he said, that's fine, just take care of the academic program. So that's what I'm going to try to do, and I've got permission. Of course, I would love to thank you for inviting me to be here. Thank you, Dean Romero, for that. For the year that I'm here, I intend to do the very best I can to support the academic programming of our university. And I can't help but think that when you got the announcement that I was going to be the interim provost, and you can put up your hands and confess, I bet that some of you said, how on earth did we end up with a dentist in charge of the academic programs? Hands? Because I actually wondered that myself. But what you have to realize is that I do have a liberal arts background, and it was a strong liberal arts background, and one that I feel prepared me very well for what I did with my life. I came from a rural community. I did not have a great education as I went to college. And when I got to my liberal arts college, my eyes were opened to what the world was about. I learned about music and art and English, literature, Russian literature, language, sociology, anthropology. All of those things have contributed to what I ended up doing, and I have a great interest in them, and I hope you realize that. And I see you as the absolute bedrock of what we do as a university, and you are extremely important in that role. And I fully intend to try and support you in that role. I did benefit from my science education, and I used it to become a dentist, but what you need to know is that my liberal arts education made me a better dentist, and it made me a better educator of other dentists. I see the role of the provost as being the part of the university that facilitates what the colleges do and what you do for your college. So in that capacity this year, I will do my very best for you. Thank you again, and welcome back to the year.
Hi, I'm Ayanna Wade, a theater and dance major at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Theater and dance is one of nearly 30 liberal arts departments and programs in the College of Arts and Sciences, or CAS. I'm here today to talk to you about a liberal arts education and what it can mean for your future. So first, let's find out what exactly a liberal arts education is.
A liberal arts education is not about a political ideology. It is about teaching our students to think critically, to connect the dots among the different disciplines, whether they are in the natural sciences, the social sciences, the humanities, or the visual and performing arts. It is about giving them the depth and the breadth they need to understand how the world works.
With such a wide array of majors, people often ask what students plan on doing with their degree. The answer is whatever you want. This degree not only helps you become a well-rounded person, it also allows you greater flexibility in your employment opportunities.
What a liberal arts education is about preparing you for life, which is what college is about. College is about helping you to learn how to think and to prepare yourself for life.
When you leave college, you may start at one job, which is directly related to your major, and then in 5, 6, 7 years, you might switch and go to something that's completely unrelated.
So to analyze the situation, figure out where the possibilities are, and actually be able then to transfer it into decisive action is one of the things I think my education has helped me develop.
So all of the training you have, all the things you learn in college, become interchangeable from discipline to discipline as you change jobs and as you do things that just are different from the last job you had, and different from the next 2 or 3 jobs you're going to have.
But one should not lose sight on what the whole purpose of college, and I say college in the sense of liberal arts is the purpose of college, is to gain this knowledge about the world in which you live in, so that you can have some tools to have an impact on that world.
A liberal arts background will allow you to adapt to these new occupations and the new issues the future will bring. CAS prepares graduates to become outstanding citizens through the transmission of knowledge, developing critical thinking abilities, and providing students with the skills to make them productive members of a rapidly changing society. A liberal arts education prepares you to do great things by not showing you what to think, but how to think. Let's see how this background has prepared these former students to accomplish what they've achieved.
Well, I chose a liberal arts major because the profession that I knew that I thought I wanted to pursue would really require me to be knowledgeable about a lot of things.
So I went into music because it was one of the things I did at the time, but it actually turned out to be a foundation to what I became later in life.
I knew I had a little bit of a knack of a drawing, and once I got involved in the drawing, or in the learning of the drawing as well as the art history, I fell in love with it.
Why liberal arts? For me, it was about feeding my interest and intellect, but it was also about a broader understanding of being a teacher, being an educator, being a contributing member of my professional community.
But the point is, you engage in something that does challenge your talents and does engage you in something that you're going to find interesting.
SIUE gave me that depth of content knowledge that positioned me perfectly for a PhD.
The dedication, along with the knowledge, the broad spectrum of knowledge that you get, I think will help you succeed in anything that you're going to do, but in particular it has to do with my field, because I need to know everything around in order to be able to talk about a subject matter or paint a subject matter.
My instrument in music was voice. So, the logical thing about performance, confidence, the capability of getting over the fear of public speaking, of interacting and learning audience psychology.
And in my professional life, I'm interacting with people that care about the world in ways that are grounded in fine arts, in education, in business, in communication, in arts and sciences.
When we're doing a sculpture, this sculpture that we're doing right now, which is the Lady of Justice, we constructed her from the bones all the way through to where she's wearing a dress. So we need to know biology, we need to know mathematics, because we need to know the ratio of each part of the body, in terms of how many heads. There's 7 heads that fit into the body, and so that has to be accurate in order for that body to be believable once we're done with it.
What I've really liked about what I do now is what I learned in college. I mean, obviously I rely on law school, but what I do here is is practically mirrors a liberal arts education. I do government, I do history, I do liberal arts.
Well, I think the most important thing I've got out of my liberal arts education is the ability to think and to really understand that if you don't know something, you can always learn it. Because I think a liberal arts education really kind of gives you the tools that says you can go and learn about this subject matter or that subject matter.
And a liberal arts background, it seems to me, best prepares one to have respect and appreciation and actually love and embracing of what it means to live in a very diverse world.
As you've seen, this background that emphasizes strong communication skills, critical thinking, and problem solving gives you the tools necessary to be successful in your work environment and in your personal life. And isn't that why you go to college in the first place?
Well, for those students who are undecided about a liberal arts education, I think they should really think about, how do I lay a foundation for myself? How can I prepare myself to be ready when that opportunity or when that desire hits me to go in a different direction, go into a specific direction.
Well, if you're an undecided student, a liberal arts education is probably ideal.
A liberal arts education develops a background for a person to be able to, as they develop and age and experience, be able to figure out if they are interested in other fields because they will know things about them.
What we're here for as human beings is to keep on passing on the knowledge, and when you have that type of an education, you have a bigger spectrum to learn from.
Make the decision that keeps the most future decisions open for you.
A liberal arts education will change the way you think, challenge your assumptions, and encourage you to take a deeper look at the world around you through experiential learning. If you'd like more information about what a liberal arts education can do for you, please visit our website at www.siue.edu/arts and sciences.
Thank you. That video was directed by one of our faculty members, Corey Byers. Corey, where are you? Round of applause for you. Great job. Great job. Thanks to all of you for coming to the 2011 College of Arts and Sciences Fall Meeting. I feel very gratified to see such a large crowd with whom we will share the accomplishments, challenges, and plans for the college in this coming term. In the last few years, higher education has been besieged by problems and uncertainties, diminishing public funds, ideological criticisms, misunderstanding of what we do. And because of that, we may feel tempted to become defensive and think about the good old days of generous funding support from the government, of total understanding of what we do and how we do it. But we basically have taken a different path. And that path has been of becoming creative and daring in order to make sure that our profession not only succeeds, but thrives. And what this presentation is all about, to tell you what we have recently accomplished and what we intend to accomplish in the short term. The idea is, of course, to move forward. The first area which I want to report to you is the area of development. What we have done in order to enhance the resources of the college from private sources. We have been communicating to our alumni and other current and potential donors to the college through high-quality publications and electronic media. Currently, we are sending our printed and electronic material to about 10,000 alumni and others. The work, together with personal contacts in an effort by our Director of Development, Marilyn Marshall, is paying big dividends. As per July 31st, we have raised more than $3.6 million, which represents 66% of the $5.5 million we have as the capital campaign goal. This is above the rest of the university, which is 49%. I want to thank Marilyn for this extraordinary effort, as well to all of you in this room who have contributed to this effort. Together with this fundraising goal, we have also developed a very active communication strategy to both internal and external audiences. For example, last year we have one of our most successful arts and issues seasons with almost 3,700 tickets sold. Among the reasons behind that success were to bring high-profile speakers such as Ken Burns, the foremost American documentarian, and Table Grandin, the most famous public advocate for people within the autism spectrum and who was recently the subject of a motion picture about her life. And this year, the program looks even brighter. We are bringing in international performers from India, Italy, and the star of this year will be Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, an astrophysicist, director of Hayden Planetarium, and a research associate in the Department of Astrophysics at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. By hosting the PBS show Nova and being a frequent guest in many TV shows, he has become the most famous American scientist. Congratulations to Grant Andre for putting together all this great program. Last year, we organized our annual colloquium. The topic was Thinking About America. And as you can see in this logo designed by Professor Barbara Nwacha of the Department of Art and Design. More than 800 people attended outstanding presentations, posters, and performances given by 76 faculty and 74 students from nearly all of SIUE's schools, not just CAS. A distinguished speaker for that colloquium was Ta-Nehisi Coates, a frequent columnist for the New York Times and the Washington Post. His presentation titled A Deeper Black, The Meaning of Race in the Age of Obama, generated a lot of very interesting questions from the audience, particularly our students. And for this year, the topic will be space, in a very broad sense, from the outer to the inner, as you can see in this design, also by Barbara Nwacha. Congratulations to Larry Lafon and the colloquium faculty committee who have made all these opportunities for our faculty, students, and staff possible. One of the things I discovered when I came here was the richness in the personal stories of many of our faculty members. So that's why I asked Larry Lafon and Charles Berger from the Department of English Language and Literature to co-edit with me a book about the faculty experiences. A total of 16 authors participated in that initiative and received very positive comments from readers, as you can see on the screen. Because of such an experience, and because in academic institutions we tend to forget about the contributions of those who preceded us, I asked Larry Lafon and Ben Retzlaff to co-edit with me another book that could be labeled the prequel to Adventures in the Academy. This one, titled After the Academy, to be published later this year, includes the participation of 17 authors, all of them distinguished emeriti and alumni of this college. We also want to provide venues by which the university community can learn firsthand what our faculty are working on. While the MUC Gallery's main function will continue to be hosting exhibits by the Art and Design Department, we will be adding other special shows by departments and programs within the college for an opportunity to showcase their work in a prime university location. In October, the Department of English Language and Literature will be presenting an exhibition in the gallery featuring American and African American literature. In early January, the Department of Political Science will feature an exhibit displaying documents and oral histories related to the Manhattan Project, an initiative being coordinated by its chair, Dr. Denise DeGarmo. From late January to early February, leading into the Black History Month, a special exhibit will be presented by the Black Studies program under the leadership of Dr. Howard Ramsey. Now, in order to keep CAS faculty abreast of all these developments of those things that are happening in the college, the student, the faculty, staff, and other constituencies are informed of these achievements through something we launched last year called This Week in CAS, an electronic weekly bulletin, which we call TWIC. Under the direction of Dr. Gary Hicks, chair of the Department of Mass Communication, the first issue of this electronic journal for this year will be this coming Monday. Now, in order to make easier access to information, we have created an app. The app is based off the TWIC site. Instead of browsing the web to see the TWIC faculty, staff, and students will benefit by having a one-touch method to access the TWIC information, which saves time. They no longer need to RSS the site because the app updates itself every time there is a new information. This app, I've been informed this morning, has become available at the App Store for free today. So you can download it anytime that you want. And I want to thank Professor Catapamoyo of the Department of Mass Communications for making this app possible. Now, in order to further publicize the achievements of our faculty and students, last year we launched a radio show, Segue, which is aired weekly by the university radio station WSIE 88.7 FM. Produced by Dr. Gary Hicks and engineered by Wayne Mills and Kwame Rose, also for the Department of Mass Communications, 23 shows have already been aired and a total of 42 have been produced. And now I invite you to listen to the promo for the next show.
107, the Jazz Station.
In addition to that, thank you. Thank you. Concurrent to the broadcast of the radio show, we publish a weekly article in the Edwardsville Intelligencer. Basically, the idea behind these articles is to portray the motivations of our faculty of why they became what they are today. Where were they born? To which school they went? What was basically the reason why they became what they are today? And what is more important, what are the kind of contributions through their teaching, through their scholarship, and their service they are making to both the students and the university as a whole, and also how that scholarship is impacting the work the colleagues are doing around the world. So this is something I invite you to check on our website or just on the newspaper, how it is published every Friday. But because we want the work of the college to be publicized, not only locally but nationally, this fall we'll start working on the plans to syndicate both the radio show and the articles at the national level. Now, I want to report to you regarding the progress we have made in transforming our college into a better reflection of the society in which we live, while exposing our students to the realities of the world. To achieve this goal, Dr. Isaac Blanson, chair of the Department of Speech Communication and a special assistant to the Dean for Diversity and International Affairs, and myself, attended the last meeting of the Role Models Conference, where we talked about 200 minority students with a GPA of 3.6 higher during an effort to recruit some of them. During that conference, we also presented the college's plan for the diversification, and that plan was awarded an accolade in terms of the vision and ideas that it contained. In order to attract more international students to SIUE, we are working with the Provost Office and international programs in order to reestablish the intensive English program for international students. We also want to offer more opportunities for our students to better understand the world in which we live. And to that end, 5 departments, international programs, and the college are working in developing an international studies major. And we intend to take advantage of this international diversity of our faculty to that end. 63 of our faculty members come from 33 countries other than the US. They can certainly provide a more international perspective to our students through the curriculum. Additionally, we have registered 12 of our faculty members in the program funded by the US State Department that allows our scholars to travel to the other countries as ambassadors of their disciplines and SIUE. Taking advantage also of the interest and expertise of faculty and students in the SIUE system, we have also submitted all the paperwork for the establishment of the Cuban and Caribbean Center to promote academic exchanges between the campuses of our system and institutions of higher education in Cuba and the Caribbean region. To that end, last January, I visited Cuba, where I met with officials of the University of Havana and other Cuban institutions about establishing formal relations between SIU and those institutions. I am pleased to report to you that the agreement that we negotiated will be signed this coming February. Chancellor Vandergrief, Chancellor Chen from the Carbondale campus, and I will be going there. And this will be done during a very special ceremony in which all the presidents of all the Cuban universities are going to be invited, as well as representatives from US universities such as Yale, Harvard, and Princeton, because the Cuban government wants to make of this agreement a model for future academic diplomacy between the United States and Cuba. Thank you. Now, what we are doing to improve the conditions under which faculty, staff, and students work in the college facilities. We began by promoting software systems such as digital measures that will make reporting more efficient and less cumbersome, so faculty and staff are not burdened with excessive paperwork, and chairs are not required to generate information in very short notice. This system, I'm sure you will appreciate that. This system will be implemented campus-wide next year, and the Departments of Biological Sciences and the Department of Music are participating in the test of the system before it goes fully operational. We also want to make information on how our faculty, staff, and students can access internal funding for scholarship, teaching, and research. In the webpage of the college, constantly updated by Dr. Wendy Shaw, as per yesterday, you can find now a link called Resources Modules, right in that part of the website. What will that do for you? Basically, what you have is, once you click in there, you will find places to find information about how to get funding for a scholarship, for teaching, or for a student. Let's say that you click on the scholarship area. That will take you to how to get funding for publication costs, equipment, travel, the Faculty Development Initiative, grants, and awards. If you go to the teaching one, that will tell you where to get funding for senior assignment, for ORCA, awards, professional development, excellent education, and instructional equipment. And if you teach, and if you click for the students, you can find information how to get funding for the Stellar program, travel, senior assignment, and the like. These interactive modules will allow anyone to access that information, and we hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity. Without a question, the most significant infrastructure project we have embarked in the last decade or so is the construction of the new science building. At a cost of $53 million, the new building is expected to be completed by fall of 2012, while the renovation of the old one is expected to be completed by the spring of 2014 at a cost of $29 million. I want to thank Dr. Kevin Johnson, who all this year has been working so tirelessly in coordinating this very complicated project. Kevin. Oops. Well, something happened here. Computers. Now you may ask, how are we progressing at the present time? And if I get this to work, you will get the answer. There we go. That was after we told them, finish it or else. I want to thank Dr. Paul Bronco, chair of the Department of Biological Sciences, whose office has housed the webcam, and Dr. Lauren Losey, who edited the video. To both of them, thank you very much. And you can see the construction of the building in real time through our website. One of the issues I encountered when I first came here to SIUE campus was the state-of-the-art and design building. This is a facility without classrooms where lectures have to be delivered in halls and with insufficient space for faculty and students to do their work, sometimes in conditions that are not the optimal ones. With the general support from the Vice Chancellor for the Administration, we have embarked in a major endeavor of renovation and expansion of that building, so faculty, staff, and students will have a modern and safe place to work and study. The total cost of this project is over $14 million and is scheduled to be completed by the fall of 2012. Now, as the Chancellor said, during the summer months, many of you, all of us who work at Peck Hall, have witnessed a major construction work, and I'm pleased to report that most of the work is complete and the last piece of furniture should be installed by the end of the semester. By completion, each faculty office will have newly cleaned floors, new ceiling tiles, newly painted walls, new windows, new heating and cooling systems, new furniture, and rewired electrical and internet connections. This, on top of the renovated classrooms last year, makes this building one of the oldest on campus, one of the most modern, that should allow faculty and staff and students to work and learn in a productive environment. I want to thank all of you who have endured and may still endure some inconveniences throughout this process, but with Shakespeare, we hope that all that ends well is well. Also this week, we have completed the renovation of the old greenhouse so our faculty and students will enjoy better facilities for teaching and research. Also, we have initiated the expansion of the Metcalf Theatre, the site for experimental theater, by adding 3,000 square feet of space for storage in climate control, where the props are continuously being produced by the theater and dance department can be stored and reused, meaning great savings of money in the long run. This is, by the way, a unique expansion among similar facilities in the state of Illinois. There is another facility on campus very few of you have seen, and that is actually hard to see. In fact, the best way to see is from space. If you Google Earth and zoom in on the southern part of the USIU campus, you will see this kind of a strange structure. And this is a secret project. It's something more nefarious. It's actually the Observatory. At a cost of $350,000 from the Illinois Space Grant Consortium, SIUE and private funds, Dr. Jeffrey Segue of the Department of Physics has designed and constructed an observatory whose images will be visible via the internet beginning October of this year. The main instrument will be a half-mirror reflective lens, and for those of you to have a taste of what the kind of images that this instrument will produce, here are a couple of examples. Quite impressive. Needless to say, this will tremendously enhance the research and teaching capability of our campuses. So congratulations to Jeffrey Segue for this tremendous work. But now, back on Earth. Last year, the Board of Trustees approved the creation of a 380-acre nature preserve on campus, an idea that was generated in one of our interdisciplinary roundtables, led by Dr. Jennifer Gregg of the Department of Anthropology. This is now the second largest nature preserve of any American campus. In addition to natural treasures, our campus also has many treasures in its university museum. In order to make that wealth of cultural information available to anybody in the world, we acquired a software called Past Perfect, the standard one being used by most museums worldwide. As you can see, you can find information about every single piece, what the provenance of that piece is for, in this case, part of the Sullivan collection. Some of our most important pieces of art, like the Smiling Lincoln, and other pieces. It is scheduled that in 2 years, the 50,000 items in our museum will be available digitally. This is done under the direction of the museum director, Eric Barnett. Now, Thank you. It is time to talk about the changes that have occurred within academics at the college. During the last year, we have implemented centralized advising so our faculty members can spend more time as mentor, as the chancellor said, and with our students. I am also happy to report that beginning this year, we are resuming the funding for the interdisciplinary roundtables that created so much excitement among the faculty in this college. And finally, the new initiative we have developed by increasing hands-on experiences and experiential learning, interdisciplinary approaches, and our teaching and research, and global views of the society in which we live. All these activities have developed more interest in applying for grants, as you can see how the amount of money from grants received by CAS faculty has been increasing in the last few years. As you can see there, for the fiscal year 2008, we have about $1.5 million, and for this past fiscal year, we went to over $2.7 million. Congratulations to all of you who have participated in this effort. Which in turn has meant higher productivity in terms of publications by our faculty, particularly when it comes to journal articles and books. In fact, I invite you to, all of you here, to look at the book table and posters of books and for the recent publications located elsewhere in the room. As you can see, look at that tremendous increase in journal articles, from 91 2 years ago to 220 today. The same thing with books, from 10 to 21. Guys, you are really working very hard, so please give a hand to yourself because of the tremendous effort you have to do in this. But we want to go even further. In order to expand our horizons, we are developing partnerships with institutions of international renown. For example, we are working on establishing a collaborative arrangement with the Missouri Botanical Garden and the Botanical Gardens of the University of Havana. The goal will be to bring selected Cuban students to SIUE for a master's degree in which they will work with scientists at SIUE and the Missouri Botanical Garden for the thesis projects. And we also plan in sending SIUE faculty and students to Cuba for research projects. And the SIUE Department of Music was proud to announce last year its first national annual scholarship competition for seniors in high school who are members of the St. Louis Symphony Youth Orchestra, another strategic alliance with one of the best symphony orchestras in the world. Additionally, we have been sending our faculty and students abroad to demonstrate their talents and the quality of our programs. That is the case of the SIUE Symphonic Band, which performed at the World Association of Symphonic Bands and Ensembles meeting in Taiwan under the conduction of Professor John Bell. As you can see, the local critics were highly complimentary of the performance. Look at this last one of the most important performances in the World Association of Symphonic Bands and Ensembles meeting in history. We are working also around the clock in securing funding to send the SIUE Choir, conducted by Professor Joel Knapp, to the International Festival of Choral Ensembles in Santiago de Cuba by the end of this year. Do you think that's worthwhile? Do you think that they are really good? Well, judge by yourself. Maestro. This is the SIUE Choir under the conduction of Professor Joel Knapp in the interpretation of Capullito Alelí, a song written by a Cuban composer and sung in Spanish, and they intend to do that in Cuba. They are a little bit short of a few $1,000, so if you can contribute, just talk to Marilyn Marshall and she will be happy to take those contributions for you. Individual students have also been acclaimed nationally, such as philosophy major Nathan Dell, who received the SIUE Lincoln Laureate Award at the All-State Capitol in November 2010. We can also see the collective effort made by departments such as anthropology, who have been implementing more field and hands-on experiences, with many of their students receiving national awards. And this has been a really showering of awards, awards after awards after awards. And this is just an example. As a result of this, they have had an explosive increase in the recruiting of majors, as you can see, from 30 to 69 in just 2 years. And this is just an example of the result of the commitment and passion of our faculty and staff for the fulfillment of their student expectations. As you can see, anthropology is not an exception, but an example of what we are achieving in the college as a whole, increasing the number of students completing their degrees. By all accounts, the new benchmark, as the Chancellor said, when it comes to state funding. Now, I want to ask, please, all the staff members in this room to rise. Come on. All of you. You are not in trouble, don't worry. Let me make clear that all of these successes that we have been talking about here had not been possible without you. It's because of your dedication and commitment to our students, our faculty, and the university that this has been possible. I said it last year, and I say it again this year. You are the unsung heroes of this college. Thank you. Thank you. Now, just a reminder. In 2015, the College of Arts and Sciences will be celebrating its 20th anniversary. By then, we expect to have a state-of-the-art facilities where we can do our work, educating the students and pursuing our intellectual interests with a new vision for what higher education in the 21st century America should be. Vibrant and growing programs, world-class faculty who are actively garnering grants and producing a scholarship, increased diversity and internationalization, recognition of the work of CAS as part of the SIUE, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally. And of course, a modern visual and performing arts center, so we stop being one of the only 2 institutions of its kind in the state of Illinois that does not have one. Although throughout this presentation, there have been many things we can be collectively feel proud of. There are other ideas, initiatives, dreams we are working on in order to fulfill the strategic plan that a college faculty committee put together almost 2 years ago, and we will inform you as they bear fruit. But despite of all these successes and dreams, let's remain humble about what progress we have accomplished. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, all progress is precarious, and the solution to one problem brings us face to face with another problem, unquote. Yet what remains permanent in our mission as educators is the understanding that the ultimate goal of our job is to teach students to educate themselves for the rest of their lives, to continuously ask questions, to wonder not only why, but also why not. So their education is a permanent work in progress. As the philosopher Herbert Spencer said, progress is not an accident, but a necessity, unquote. And those are the goals of a liberal arts education, to create a foundation for a person, a community, and a country, and humanity to move forward, to assure that everybody understands that to progress is to dare. Don't forget that most of our students are, by nature, daring. So let's set the example in this time and place by being daring but wise, ambitious but responsible, successful but humble. Therefore, let's keep moving forward together. Thank you very much.